Hello and welcome to The Heart of the Matter. My name is Omotayo. Now, as we all know, in this country, Nigeria, we are in a season of political transition, and we believe that it is very important to engage in that process beyond just the conversations in our bedrooms or on social media. Today on The Heart of the Matter, we are having one of such conversations. We are sitting with political candidate Bankole Wellington, yes, formerly known as Banky W, the musician, the actor, and now politician. It should be a really interesting conversation. Stay tuned. Welcome back to The Heart of the Matter. We're here with Bankole Wellington.
Hey.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, all right. So how, even just your new name that we're calling you.
Abio.
That's not what we've always called you.
Yeah.
So you started with music.
Mm-hmm.
We all loved or sort of hated to love that first Rihanna cover that we heard.
Fair enough.
And you've come a really long way since then.
Thank
and
God.
Movies
Thank
and
God.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And now politics.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right into that.
Okay. Why? So in my 10 years of being an entertainment entrepreneur in Nigeria, I've been fortunate to have experienced some success to build a business and things of that nature. But in that time, I've been kind of a vocal critic of the issues concerning Nigeria, the issues facing young people, issues like bad governance and things of that nature. And in that time of being a vocal critic, I've participated in protests. I mean, we did Light Up Nigeria, and Enough is Enough as far back as 2009. And over the years, I've spoken at protests, at conferences, every election season I go on this, young people, let's get our PVCs, let's register to vote. But you look back and you see that things are not moving as fast as we would like them to be. Nigeria is not getting fixed as fast as we would like it to be. And it's like, you play a Fela song today that he wrote in 1978, and it sounds like he wrote it last week. Yeah. And then you look at the leaders and you look at the fact that in 2019, we're still kind of recycling. The same people are in charge of the country. And so it's like, I'm looking at everything and understanding that the problem in Nigeria is from the top down.
Right.
But I believe that the solution is from the bottom up. And what I mean by that is that our generation has to get involved again from the level of the community. Let's get people in the National Assembly. Let's get people in the House of Reps, in the state houses of assembly. Let's get good legislators in the system. Everybody's so concerned about the president and the governors, forgetting that your rep has responsibilities to your community and to the nation as a whole. But most of the time, we don't even know who these people are.
So speaking about that, what are the responsibilities of the people in rep? So for instance, you're talking about changes, I'm able to do all these changes, but are you is the person in the House of Rep the one who can actually influence the change? Because if you look at the chain all the way up, it's like, who is the person?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So for the House of Reps, what actually kind of motivated me to go for this position as opposed to any other one is that they have dual responsibilities. One, as a lawmaker, these are the people that are supposed to be concerned with setting the laws that govern society, amending those laws, making sure that the laws properly or adequately address the situation that we're in as a country. But they also have responsibilities for constituency development, and that's more at the local level. They receive an allocation every month or every quarter that they're supposed to use to develop actual communities and constituencies and to fix problems in the community. So it's like they're relevant on a national level, but they're also relevant on a local level.
So they have a budget.
Yes.
That they are meant to use.
And this is what we've been talking about. We're saying, first of all, I spoke at a church, right? And I'm speaking to 3,000 people seated in the audience. And I said, how many people actually know who their representative is? There were 5 hands. So it's like, if we're not even paying attention to who is getting in, how then do we hold them accountable for their salaries and their allowances and their allocations that they receive? A rep could walk in here right now. Nobody in here would even be able to say, this guy is representing my constituency. Oga, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
So we want to go into the National Assembly with this mindset of we're going in as a torchlight. We can accept that it's a room full of darkness, or somebody can decide to turn on a torchlight and say, okay, this is what it is, this is the allocation, this is the allocation for Etiosa, this is what we're going to use it on.
Right.
We're going to have an active constituency office, we're going to have town halls periodically, so that we can discuss with the community, say, okay, oh, this is the allocation, what can we fix? How can we impact education? How can we impact healthcare? We have people that are not accountable to the very communities that they're supposed to represent.
All right, so off the back of all of that, so town halls and all of these things, it sounds very much like, and this is probably not as educated as it should be, but a lot of people don't know that much about how this thing works.
Exactly.
But what you're saying sounds like what the local government chairman should be doing.
Right.
So at what point do you then kind of work together and...
I think, you know, the idea is that let us, and this is what we're trying to inspire.
Yeah.
All of these positions are important.
Right.
Your State House of Assembly, your local government chairman, the councillor,
Right.
the House of Reps, the senator. Everybody has a set of responsibilities to their local communities or constituencies, and also to the government, to the federation, to the country. Yeah. So what we're trying to get is to inspire this generation to pay attention and to care about the people that are entering these positions. We have to get to the point where the country is saying, okay, as I am, I'm going to get a chance to vote for my House of Reps, for my Senate, for my governor, for my State House of Assembly. So who are the people running for these offices, and who best represents my interest? It can no longer be just a party thing, because in any organization, there are good and bad people. You go to the church, there are witches and wizards sitting in some churches right now. Yep. So it's like it can no longer be just this, oh, this group mentality, oh, it's this party or that party, and that's it. No, now it needs to be about people, about credible people, about people with intellectual capacity, people with integrity, people with the right intentions for the offices that they're going into.
And even more than that, what I'm hearing you say that is sticking out to me specifically is, we are used to blaming, say, the president, or then the governor, or then someone else. But what you're saying is that there are people at every single level.
Listen, you are completely, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, it's fine.
You're completely spot on.
Yeah.
This obsession that we have that it's just the president or the governors that matter is completely wrong. And that's why you can have people be multiple term House of Reps, Senate, and you can't really point to any discernible thing that they're doing with the positions or the powers of the office.
No one is looking at them,
because nobody's looking.
One can keep them accountable.
You know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to inspire is, number one, inspiring our generation to pay attention. Number two, inspiring them to come to the table. Let's build a movement. Let's open this door. If we can do it in Etiosa, that means we can do it around the country. Let's open this door. I want in 2023, I want us to put in 40 good legislators into the National Assembly. You will change this country if you put 40 good people in the House. And so that's what we're saying is like, dream big, but start small. Enter, build capacity, find like minds, work on the issues together, and grow. And let's build a movement. APC and PDP are so powerful today because 30 years ago, they built something. And that is what is resulting in the structure that they have now. So we can either sit and just complain and point fingers, or we can attempt to build something ourselves.
There's so much about that. So let's jump on the like minds thing. Because obviously everybody's like, if you're not with a big party, even when you go in, you can't do anything, they vote you out, blah, 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 blah. What would you plan to do to kind of override that?
I think that the dawn is coming where right now you'll find that across the country there are people, good people, trying to get into government at different levels. And I don't think that we'll all get in there and immediately be, focused on only what we can do with our own parties. I think that this is the time where even the leaders, the people need to require from the leaders to work together. Somebody asked me that, oh yeah, MDP, if you get into the House, will you be voting and siding with APC, or will you be voting and siding with PDP? I said I'll be voting and siding with the young people of Nigeria. That is my concern. So if an issue comes up and we're voting and it concerns the young people, you'll see me there, and you'll see me siding with the people that I'm representing. And I think that no matter what party our leaders are in, that needs to be the prerequisite. That needs to be the default mentality, that it's now no longer just about parties versus parties. It's now about people, about credible people coming together to say we can do this thing together regardless of our backgrounds. I think that I have the ability to help inspire that. Of course, I'll be counting on a few other people across the country who are entering the National Assembly to do the same and to have that same mindset. But I think that it can be done. Yeah. You know, listen, it's either we accept that we can't do anything about it and that the system is so bad, or you try. Yep. And I would rather, listen, I can live with trying and failing. Right. But not trying is not an option for me. That's the real failure. Yeah. When you say, oh, it can't be done. Yeah. Because it can. Yeah.
So with all of this happening, how is it affecting your personal choices? Like, I think that there is more clean, stress-free money in music, movie, business. Oh, yeah. So how is that affecting your personal life? Like having to give up a part of your life for this? How is that transition?
You know, it's affected my life a lot. I had to give up endorsement deals. I had to give up running the day-to-day running of my business. I had to sacrifice a lot of things. And I also, I mean, I'm a married man. You know, I have a relationship to protect. I have a family to build. And so all of that is on the line. Yeah. But you know, great change takes great sacrifice. Great results don't come unless somebody's willing to do the work and somebody's willing to bear the brunt of whatever will come our way. Yeah. I like to use the example of black people getting the right to vote in America. Martin Luther King, them were organizing a 1 million man march under the threat of police brutality. Right. Martin Luther King paid the ultimate price with his life for black people to have the right to vote. So when I'm talking to young people, I say, listen, this is not, it's not going to come easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it and everyone would be doing it all along. This is the reality of the situation that we're in, and I will always rather try and at least walk away knowing that I gave it everything that I had. Yeah. We need to become a one-term government country across every level of government until we find people that deserve a second go-around. So if somebody gets in there and doesn't perform the way that you expected them to, you have every right to change your mind. If you want to take it that far, you can recall your rep. You don't have to wait for the first term to be over. You have a right to sit there and say, okay, I supported this guy or this girl, and she got in there and they changed on me. So show it in your votes. Right. So if I get there and I change on people, when I get there by the grace of God, because I have to speak, I'm a man of faith. But when I get there by the grace of God, if I don't perform the way that I'm saying, if I don't live up to the standards that I'm telling people now, then remove me and never look at my face again. But if I do perform, then build this movement with me and let's put other people in to do the same thing. Right. People think this thing is so impossible. This seat was won in 2015 with 28,000 votes. 28,000 in the whole of Etiosa. 28,000 votes was all it needed, was all the last rep needed to win this election. Is that impossible?
That impossible. I mean, that's
28,000 where all of us live and work and make money and on our hustle, the headquarters of the creative business, of media, of telecoms, of oil and gas, of banking, where all of us are. Is it that impossible to find 50,000 young people with PVCs who say, you know what, maybe we can't do it for the whole country, but we can start here. And we can start with this one race. And we can prove to ourselves that it can be done. And once we do that, we use this as a rallying point. And we build. We build together. We infiltrate government at multiple levels. We put people with capacity and with intelligence in there. And watch the country turn around. This is how it happens. That's how it works. You start small, you build. And you build together and you align like minds together and you infiltrate and you grow. And you grow. And then we get there.
Let's take a quick break because there's so many tables that you are potentially shaking with that last statement.
Shake it.
But we'll go on a quick break. Yeah. And when we come back, we will be still sitting here chatting with Banky W.
The wait is finally over as our new Master Life, Experiencing God and Mind of Christ classes for this year start on Wednesday the 13th of February 2019 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Other times include Sundays starting from the 17th of February. Now the time for Master Life is 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and for Experiencing God from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Please register with Pastor Odurinde to be a part of Master Life, Experiencing God and Mind of Christ in 2019.
Welcome back to the Heart of the Matter. We are still here with Banky W. Yeah. All right, so before we went on the break, you talked about starting small and not just earning the right to be president. Let's talk about that a bit.
Okay.
Because from my perspective, I feel like in this election season that's happened, a few things have gotten young people talking more than ever before. The fact that there are young people on the entire gamut of everything. But the argument on the other side can be, if you always start small, how long will it take? And by the time you grow, wouldn't you have become jaded and into the system? And what do you say to that?
So first of all, I tip my hat to everybody running for president. I think it takes a tremendous amount of courage to run for any elected position. So I tip my hat to anybody that is doing that. I, however, in my mind, feel like I just have a different strategy to address the issues concerning Nigeria. Like, in my mind, imagine if in 2019, Auntie Obi and Fela and Kingsley Moghalu and Showore and me and whoever else were all entering the National Assembly now. Like, imagine what that would be. That to me would have been like the greatest thing. Like,
but would anybody have paid attention if they didn't look like they were on this huge platform?
Here's the thing. For the first time, because I'm running and because I'm shouting about this House of Reps thing, CNN is covering the House of Reps run in Lagos. BBC and Media Room Hub and Pulse are hosting our debate. It's never happened before. The international media and the national media is saying, oh, well, this is actually important. Let's cover it. They're coming. The Associated Press was out on the campaign trail with us in Ajah markets and in Tedo markets, and we were doing our town halls, and they were there covering it because they understand what that means. Imagine that this unknown party that is just from a group of idealistic, optimistic young people comes in and takes a seat in the most important economic district, in the most important economic state, in the biggest black country in the world. That's a story. That's important. And they understand what that's a seed that you plant that will eventually be what opens the door for credible candidates across the country. That's what's important. Listen, for people running for president, I mean, I tip my hat to you, but you need 25% of the vote in 2/3 of the states first. So you could be the most popular person in Lagos and get every single Lagos vote. You're still not going to win.
But then doesn't that come down to the same cynicism and calculations that other people are doing, saying this young person is running, how many percentage of the people are going to...
And that's the thing. So for me, it's like, at this level of the community, 28,000 votes is infinitely more achievable, and it's a good starting point. We can do 50,000 people. We can. We may not, the outcome of February 16th is going to be what it is. And I'm just encouraged that all of us, from the people running for president all the way down, all of us are changing the narrative of, and we're showing that you can do it, that you can run for office, that you can be inspired, and just off the strength of your ideas, decide that this is what you want to do. So all of us, Auntie Obi, Fela, Moghalu, Showore, everybody that is kind of towing this independent, smaller party route should be applauded.
All right, let's talk about faith.
So
we're on the heart of the matter, which is essentially kingdom-driven. That's how we like to put it.
Of course.
How has your faith influenced or impacted or even motivated this decision to run?
Listen, I'm not a pastor, but I am nothing if not a man of faith. My faith in God and what I believe He has empowered me to be able to do is what has informed my decision-making all along. Back when we finished university and we're trying to enter the music business, people told us it couldn't be done. People said, oh, you don't know anybody, you don't have any sponsor, you don't have any investor, you don't have any backer.
So pretty much the same thing people
It's
are
the same
saying
set of terms. But we said, you know what? Let us start it. Faith, I think it was Martin Luther King that said, faith is taking a step even when you don't see where the entire staircase leads to. We sit in church every Sunday. We read stories about David and Goliath. We read stories about Joshua and Caleb and the children of Israel. We hear about David. There was a Goliath saying he was going to trample out everybody, oppressing the whole country. And all the children of Israel sat there and said, oh, this thing is not doable. But one person said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? One guy, he was a teenager, and he said that. And we read that story and we don't realize that in that same scenario, We're the children of Israel saying that it can't be done. We read Joshua and Caleb going out with the spies and saying, this is the land that we want to conquer. It's a land flowing with milk and honey. To sound like Nigeria, a land that has so much potential, a land that God has blessed with all kinds of resources, but the land is filled with giants. They will trample us. We cannot Does that sound familiar? But that's the thing. So we read those stories in church, but we don't want to apply it in our situation. So when it comes to us, we fall on the part of the children of Israel who didn't believe Joshua and Caleb. God never needs everybody. He just needs a couple of people to stand up and stick their necks out and say, I'm a child of God and I believe that God can do better with this situation through me. That's what the Bible is. So why would we read that every blessed Sunday and then come to Nigeria and say it can't be done? Why?
Right. So, you know, when you're talking about, obviously, David, children of Israel, and all of that stuff, it ties into the apathy that, I mean, I feel like we've gone to a point where we are proud of our apathy.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even care.
We're resolute.
We're just like, we're comfortable in it as well. And it's easy to say, oh, this useless country. Oh, they are trying. They will eat them up. They will turn into all of them. And it's so interesting because Nigerians are people of faith. Whatever the faith is, Nigerians are people of faith. And we seem to be so resolute in not having faith when it comes to turning the country around. But what would you say to, like, the elitist thing? So you're speaking for you went to school abroad, elite people doing politics. How are you dealing with those issues of connecting with the grassroots? Why would the Malam in Ethiopia vote for you?
So here's the thing. It's funny. The most support we've gotten has been from the grassroots. Most of our donors, this is one of the first times that a campaign of this kind is being funded from contributions from the community. Most of our donors have given less than 5K. I'm getting 1,500 donations, 500 naira, 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira. People who have the least need the most, but understand that they have to require different of the leaders that they're putting in there. We're going and having town halls. Every day we're doing some sort of town hall or door-to-door. Yesterday we were in Ije Barracks in Obalende. We're having a town hall. The people were having the town hall for us, telling themselves that, guys, this is not, when they come and share rice, it's not about sharing rice. That rice that they give us, that 1K or 500 naira that they give us, how long does it last us? And then they go away for 4 years and steal again, and then come back. This is the community saying these things. I'm there watching them. They're preaching the message for us because they get it.
How come they get it? Why do you think
Because, you know, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's the words of, I think, Albert Einstein. They've seen that selling their votes every election season does nothing. The school that their child goes to is still deteriorating. The health center that they go to, they have to buy their own gloves for treatment. They're wisening up to the fact that this situation is dire. When I say I care about education and it's on my agenda, it's because in my personal life, I was the benefit of a scholarship. And so immediately God blessed me with enough money. I started a scholarship fund myself. I've sent kids in Nigeria to school, home and abroad, helped them further their education, further their studies, and move on. We have, one of the beneficiaries of my scholarship is now a grad student in Yankee, and she wants to work for the UN. One of the benefits of my scholarship was one of the producers on Up North, the movie that I did. She went to school for filmmaking. Scales, Wiz, they all went to school off of the scholarship. You know, Scales graduated, got a degree in business administration, and you know, so these are things that I've cared about. I've adopted schools. I've donated equipment. Up North in Bauchi, the school that we shot in, I adopted. In Lagos, I've done the same thing. When I say I care about healthcare, most people at this point know that I had skin cancer 3 times. And thank God, I was able to afford my treatment. But what happens to the person that can't? So what did? I turned around and I joined the Pinko Cancer Trust Fund. I've donated my own money. I've raised awareness. When I say I care about gender equality, we did a campaign last year that raised 100 million impressions online with the European Union about gender-based violence in Nigeria. We told the story of the Mirabel Center and the 4,000 patients that they've treated. We told the story of an 11-year-old girl whose uncle was raping her and giving her 50 naira each time. What is a representative if not somebody who speaks up about issues facing the community? What is a representative if not somebody who uses whatever is allocated to him to help fix things in the community? Isn't that the experience necessary to become a rep? I'm not asking to become president or governor. I'm saying I want to represent my community, my constituency. And I'm saying that if it's education, I have a degree in engineering from one of the best engineering schools in the world. If it's experience building a business, look at what EME has done in the last 10 years. If it's experience empowering young people, look at all the young people that I've helped. If it's education, look at the people I've sent to school and the schools I've adopted. If it's healthcare, look at what I've done in the fight against cancer. This is who I've been all along.
Right. What happens if you don't win?
I think that's a great question because what we found sometimes is that people come around during election season and they say great things, and the minute that they don't get it, they disappear for the next 4 years. And what we're saying is that this is a commitment to doing this period going forward. February 17th, we're telling our volunteers, our supporters, our party members, February 17th, regardless of the outcome on February 16th, February 17th is day one where we start. If we have the powers of the office, by the grace of God, we'll be able to do a lot more when handover is in May, I think, May 29th. But from February 17th, the work begins. We're going to build this movement. We're going to fix our community. Even while campaigning, we're already doing medical outreaches now.
Right.
Because we need people that are committed to impacting this country and bettering society, regardless of whether they got the office or not. It's not about the office.
Movies, music, what happens to that?
Well, it's not, this isn't a permanent retirement notice.
Right.
Obviously, when I get into office, by the grace of God, that becomes priority number one. But I'm never going to turn my back permanently on the business. It's a business that I love. Art, music, movies, this is what I'm passionate about. And part of the reason I'm going into office is to make things better for filmmakers and music makers and young people in business across the board. I just feel like, right now my life is about impact.
Right.
So how can I impact? I want to go down in history as one of the young people that impacted Nigeria for the better. And that's my obsession now. And so yes, it will take a bit of a backseat, but not permanently. I'll always be involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, we have to round up.
It was good, though. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, there's a million more questions that I would have loved to ask, but,
I think we did good today.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the heart of the matter. That was a really enlightening conversation with Olubankole Wellington. I think one thing that I took away and something that I think we can all take away is that we actually do have a choice. And that those conversations we have where we say, nothing can change, those conversations are actually doing more damage to us than actually trying. One of the things he said was it's better to try and fail than not to try at all. And I think that is the mindset we should all go into this season with. Let us try, let's do our research, let us find out which candidates we think actually are on the same ideological wavelength as we are, and let's put our backs behind them and vote. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Heart of the Matter. Please join the conversation on our social media platforms. We are at HOTM TV on Facebook and on Instagram. And we are on YouTube at HOTM channel, so you can watch replays of these episodes whenever you like. Thank you so much again, and see you next time.